Hello, and welcome to my channel and to my first ever manga analysis video. I wanted to make this series of these short videos where I can analyze and understand what makes great mangas work in hopes that I can make my own manga better as well. I hope you can get something out of these videos too. So today I want to talk about one of my favorite mangas, A Silent Voice by Yoshitoki Ooima, and 4 things that, in my opinion, makes this manga outstanding. A Silent Voice was serialized in Weekly Shonen magazine in between the years 2013 and 2014. It has won multiple awards and has been adapted into an anime feature by Kyoto Animation. In a nutshell, it's very, very good. It's a very popular manga and anime, so I feel like anyone who watches this channel will already know about it, but just in case for those of you who haven't, a quick plot summary. I am going to try and keep this video spoiler free, but there are going to be minor spoilers, especially around volume 1 and 2. So if you don't want any spoilers, please read the manga or check out the anime and then come back to this video. The story is about a boy called Shoya Ishida, who in elementary school bullied a girl called Shoko Nishimiya, who is hearing impaired. And because of that, he was ostracized by the rest of his class. Years later, in senior high school, he contemplates taking his own life because of depression and social anxiety. But before he does, he tries to make amends with those he wronged, and that includes talking with Shoko. It's a very emotional manga with very deep and complicated characters, and I think the main theme that this story tries to tackle is the difficulty of communicating with others. And I can talk about the characters and the plot for this manga forever and ever, but today I want to put focus on 4 elements that I think make this manga amazing. Okay, so number 1, it's the graphic and visual representation of social anxiety. This is obvious for anyone who has read or watched the series, but it's those crosses on the people's faces. They are a direct representation of Shoyu's point of view and how he won't look or listen to other people properly. They are a great tool the author uses to let the audience know what Shoya is thinking. For example, when Shoya is interested or starts trusting someone, the cross from their face slowly peels off. And when he shuts down, they come right back up again. There is a scene I like in particular when he's talking to a girl called Ueno, who he used to be friends with. The way we can still see her eyes, but the cross still being there, makes us understand how conflicted he is and how he can't quite trust her. These crosses also support the theme that communication is hard. Because the cross makes it hard for us and Shoya to see the expression of others properly, it represents his anxiety and his difficulty to make connections with others. I think the lesson that we can learn from this is that we can play around with more graphic elements when we are working on our own manga. Okay, so the second thing that I want to talk about is how this manga artist uses lines to capture emotions and expressions. She doesn't use this often, but when she does, it really made me pause on the page. Let me show you an example. In this scene, these 2 characters are having an argument. And in this shot, Shoko must have said, signed something pretty intense to the younger character Yuzuru. And in the next page, Yuzuru's composure breaks, and her line work becomes shaky, visually telling the readers how shaken she is. I really love this technique that the author uses. You can almost hear her voice breaking when we read her dialogue. It also reminds me of classic Impressionism artists like Van Gogh or Monet, who can express emotions through their brushstrokes as well. So yeah, I think the lesson that we can learn from that particular technique is that we don't have to be so literal when we are drawing our lines. And because it's a visual medium, we can play around with it to try and capture emotions and expressions. The third element is how this author plays around with the text. In one scene, we are looking at things from Shoko's point of view, and the text is printed like this. The text is only half visible and it is made to be really hard to read. And just with something as simple as that, the author is making us understand how hard it is for Shoko, who is hearing impaired, to understand what others are saying to her. Third lesson, you can be creative with the text if the story asks for it. And the fourth thing I want to talk about is the lack of exposition and explanation from the author of what's happening in the story. I know that this might be a bit of a hit and miss for some readers, but I really appreciate how much the author doesn't over-explain things to us. For example, there is a panel of Shoyo's mother mysteriously bleeding from her ear when she went to apologize to Shoko's mother. We, the readers, are left to speculate just like Shoyo is in this scene. And the other thing that I noticed that in this manga, quite often we don't know what Shoko is signing. Sometimes the other characters explain it to us, but a lot of the times we are left without a translation. And I feel like if everything was explained to us, it'll take away from the essence of the theme, which is communicating is hard. And thus, just like a lot of the other characters, we are left wondering what Shoko was trying to say to us. So yes, the fourth takeaway is don't over-explain things. I think that is really hard, especially for an amateur newbie storyteller like me, but I think it's really important because too much exposition just makes things really boring, and I think it makes the reader feel dumb, maybe? So yeah, I want to keep that in the back of my mind when I'm working on my own manga. So yes, that's 4 things that I think that make this manga unique from others. And that's even without me touching on the biggest strength of this manga, which are the characters. I definitely recommend anyone who hasn't read or watched A Silent Voice to give it a go. It's truly an eye-opening manga that makes you realize how hard and precious communicating with the people in your life is. Truly a masterpiece. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed my first ever manga analysis video. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I hope I'll see you on the next one. Bye!